Hey everyone, how are you doing? It's been a minute since I've been on. I'm glad to be filming again. These are barrettes. I promise I don't have like Frankenstein nodes coming out of my head, but I have my hair back. We're gonna do a little get ready with me, a little chatty, a little catch up with my buddies here on YouTube. So drop in the comments, how's your fall going? September is well underway. I can hardly believe it, but I'm so loving the coming on of fall. I'll share products with you as I'm getting ready. I finally got my hands on the Patrick Ta She's Sculpted. I love and hate the packaging on these because look, I mean, the fingerprint drama, hello. But anyway, here's what it looks like. This is a bronzer that has a cream part and a powder part. Very quickly, my base products are, of course, I put on moisturizer, friends. And then I have the Milani Conceal and Perfect Concealer in 140 Pure Beige. I'm trying to make my way through this concealer. I have probably 20 or so concealers, and I want a new bottle of this, so I'm working on finishing this up. I'm not one to work on finishing up products. Like I just use what I want, but for some reason I'm obsessed with using this one up. I can't explain the why or the how. And then my foundation today is the YSL All Hours Foundation. It does have a sunscreen in it. This is in the color BD40 Warm Sand, which I think is actually a little bit light for my taste. Like this is more of a late fall into winter when my fake tan is waning. But now that I've gone back to spray tanning, like in a booth spray tanning, I probably need to switch over to all of my more caramelly darker foundations. But anyway, that's what we're working with today. I thought I would put this on before I put my powder on. Sometimes I'll powder my face and then remember to do bronzer, but because this has a cream, I want to go ahead and play with the cream portion of this. So let's talk. I'm going to use my fingers. Let's talk about fall in like September. I think I shared in the last video that school has started here in my house, and it's been an interesting transition. It gets bittersweet. It's so great to have the house back to ourselves so that we can concentrate on working, because my husband and I both work from home, and it's not impossible, but just a little bit more challenging when there's kids at home to sort of distract you and ask questions and come in. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it just makes for a more slow going work day. And I'm fortunate to work for a company that's really just understanding of that. However, I am a workhorse and I want to feel like I am productive during the day. Like I go, and want to make sure I'm accomplishing a lot. Otherwise, I just kind of feel useless by the end of the day if I haven't ticked off my to-do list and gotten a lot done. It's nice to have the house back to ourselves. And I think the kids are enjoying school. For the most part, we haven't heard anything dramatic to the other direction. Ooh, I'm already overdoing it, y'all. Already overdoing it. But you know me in the bronzer situation, I just go a little bananas. So the house has been nice and quiet during the day. I've had an opportunity to burn some fall candles. Can we take a minute to talk about candles? Because I think I'm about to go down that candle rabbit hole. I love fall gourmand scents in candles. The problem is my husband hates them. Like he hates the pumpkin smells. Yeah. How are you? We've talked about this, right? Like, are you into the pumpkin thing or not? I think I asked that in my last video. So I'm trying to find candles that I think he would also enjoy, since our offices are right across the hall from each other. And anything that I burn in my office or in the kitchen kind of wafts into both of our offices, and I want to be considerate. But I also want to get my candle game on. So I've been watching like 10,000 videos on candles. You know how that is. Like you get into something, the YouTube algorithm sees, oh, Veronica's into candles. We're going to flood her feed with Bath and Body Works candles, with Homeworks. Have you heard of Homeworks candles? What else am I seeing? I think there's something called Kindle. What is it? There's another kind of candle company that I'll put the name up here if I remember it. But I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. So that's my first question for you all. What is your favorite candle company? I personally am head over heels for DW Home, I think it is, candles. They're really, how did I get into that? They're sold at Marshall's and TJ Maxx. So I go down that rabbit hole when I walk into Marshall's and TJ Maxx. It's like the candle aisle has this huge Veronica magnet, and I'm like I'm sucked into that aisle. Next thing you know, I'm spending 30 minutes 30 minutes with my nose in candles. Of course, being cautious not to touch my nose to the surface because everybody and their mom is opening those lids and sniffing. Hello, germs. So I'm curious to know, what are your favorite fall candles and where do you purchase them from? Like, are you a Bath and Body Works person? I like Bath and Body Works. I get a little bit overwhelmed sometimes by the number of selections. So hubby and I went into Bath and Body Works last weekend. We went to the mall. He immediately, like, you know how men are when they shop, they're like, they want to see two things and then they want to get out of the store. Us, we want to touch everything on every shelf. We want to smell all the different varieties of the products. We want testers. We want to talk to the sales. I don't want to talk to the sales associate. That's a damn lie. I don't talk to the sales associates, but maybe some of you like to talk to them. Anyway, he likes to get in and out as quickly as possible. Me, I kind of enjoy taking my time and sniffing. He didn't like any of the candles really at Bath and Body Works. He gets really overwhelmed with those smells. And then it just becomes like a big joke and we have to leave. But I am curious to hear, what are some of your faves? I have a cart open at the Homeworks site right now, and in there is a fall farm stand candle. Have you smelled that? Let me know what you think. And what else do I have in there? Oh, there's a candle that smells like beignets. I mean, who doesn't love a good beignet? And it has really, really good reviews. So I'm curious about that. And I think I have like a sage candle that's on sale that would actually go right here in the bathroom. I like to leave a candle burning at night in the bathroom so that when I get up to tinkle, I don't have to like turn the lights on. There's a nice candle. The bathroom smells fantastic. And it's just homey. I don't know. It's just like one of those pleasures. So candles, let me know what you think about candles and what you would recommend. One of my all-time favorites is from Yankee Candle, and it's just there. I think it's called Spice Pumpkin. It's a very simple candle. I'll put the image here. I've loved that one for years and years. It's not the most projecting candle. You know, it's not gonna wow anyone, but there's something really subtle and comforting about that candle. I also have berry waffle cone from Bath and Body Works that's in the kitchen right now. That candle is all kinds of strong and powerful, so I just have to be really careful with it. Not one that my husband likes, so I have burned it when he has gone away for business. And I probably should put it like in our family room, which is away from the kitchen and our offices, so that the smell is a lot more subtle in the kitchen where we meet up for lunch and whatever as we're working during the day, and will be very faintly noticeable in our offices, versus if I stick it in the kitchen, it'll like fill up all of our workspace. So I just have to be careful with that sort of thing. So can you tell, speaking of candles and home, that I am in a nesting way? No, I'm not pregnant. I'm 47, my friends, and that shop is officially closed. Like we are, no, that's just not happening. But I have that like motherly nesting instinct going on still, even though, you know, it has nothing to do with having children. So I'm in like that home decor, home everything kind of a mood. Like I'm actually enjoying doing laundry. What? When would you ever hear me say something like that? I think the bronzer situation is fairly subtle, but that's okay. I'm not going to be filming videos where I need the makeup to be super dramatic so that it picks up on camera. This is the only video that I'm filming today, and I'm going to be working from home and hanging out with our kids for dinner later. So let's go ahead and powder the face, and I think I'm going to reach for the Becca Soft Light Blurring Powder in Golden Hour. One of the things I'm enjoying is doing what makeup YouTubers call shopping my stash. And that's just a fancy way of saying, I'm gonna just use the products I have on hand instead of talking about new products. So, oh, the powder. So, speaking of makeup products real quick, and then we'll get back into the home stuff. So y'all, I have a lot of makeup. I have had some non-makeup weeks, like whole weeks, like on vacation during the summer. I promised myself this summer I wasn't going to go through all the rigmarole. We did 2 vacations, one to Cabo and one to Florida, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I didn't want to go through all the rigmarole of packing a ton of makeup that was probably just going to melt off my face in these hot environments. So I really just did like sunscreen, a little bit of lip gloss, maybe a little mascara, and I went on about my merry way on these vacations, and I have no regrets. But where I'm going with this is because I had a very sort of low makeup kind of a summer, this fall am wanting to dig back deeply into most of my makeup collection. I have some really nice makeup that I want to use, and oddly, and for the first time in a long time, I really don't have any interest in very many new makeup products, with one exception, and I have to think about this. Ooh, I have to think about this. It's the new Natasha Denona Dream Collection. I don't know the full name, but let's put it here. My understanding of the palettes, because I want all of the big Natasha Denona palettes. It's like a thing. Like I collect them. I love them. I think it's one of the best formulas on the market, maybe the best. I don't know, rivaling Pat McGrath, rivaling, well, Scott Barnes. I love Scott Barnes eyeshadows too, but I just think Natasha Denona has the eyeshadow formula, at least for my eyes, covered. You know? Speaking of Natasha, I'm going to be using the Zendo palette. Look at these fingerprints. Ow! But the Zendo palette, which is one that didn't get a lot of love. People actually hated on this palette, but what a beautiful palette for fall. You've got these pinky, peachy, brown colors over here, and then some fun pops of green if you want to do something a little bit different. So what do we want to play with? It's a work day and I'm going to be on a lot of videos, so I'm going to stick to the more safe colors on this end and maybe do something with this like as the lower lash line liner. So let's get into that. But that palette from Natasha Denona is one that I'm taking a look at. I don't know if I really want to purchase it, other than it's the next Natasha Denona palette that I feel like I have to have. But my understanding is that this is a collection of all of the shadows from her other palettes that she loves the most. So I'm like, well, do I really want that? Because I have all of her other palettes. Yes, but no, but yes, but no, but maybe, but yes, but no. So we'll see about that. I'm going to start off with this beautiful caramelly color here called Balance, and put that in the crease and most of the background color. So back to the nesting thing. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get into eyeshadow, let me show you two new little products that I've added to my kingdom of very minimal fall things. Hang on. So one is this pillow that I got at TJ Maxx. You guys, oh my goodness, there's just some really cute fall pillows at TJ Maxx right now. I want them all, but I limited myself to one just because like these are big and bulky and hard to store, and I don't want to have like tons of decorations all over. I already have every like nook and cranny of every closet in this house stuffed with decorations. So, but look, check this out. Ah, shut your mouth. Isn't that so stinking cute? So I have this on the rocking chair in our bedroom where I go sit and have my morning coffee, and it cradles my back. But how adorable is this scene of these kids trick-or-treating? It's like precious. And then I also found a mug, because can you have too many mugs? The answer is yes, but we're just going to say no for now. We're going to answer no for ourselves. But I really wanted just a fall mug. So like my mug today is this beautiful one, which could, conceivably be considered like fall colors. But here is a little bit of footage of the mug that I found at a very reduced price at TJ Maxx, along with that pillow. So those two things came home with me, along with candles. Yeah, we go to the candle aisle at TJ Maxx, and I torture my husband making him smell all the candles, and he just has a ball with it because he starts to just kind of make fun of how crazy women get about candles. And then he's a comedian, in the in the aisle. And I always feel sorry for other women that happen to walk into the aisle to sniff candles, because he's not quiet. He'll just joke around like Saturday Night Live style about the candle obsession. And I think it's off-putting for other people, but gosh, it makes me laugh. So, but I'm always like slightly embarrassed, like, shh, people can hear you. He just goes on and on about like the goofiness of the candle obsession, particularly in the fall with the pumpkin craze. Like he does not get the pumpkin craze. Speaking of, now I want a pumpkin spice latte. He did buy me this pumpkin whipped cream. Is that what you call it? Whipped cream that you put on top of a drink. I'm not really into that, but he knew I wanted like a pumpkin spice creamer. I don't put creamer in my coffee, but I've been craving pumpkin spice. And so even though he hates it, like he'll do things like that. That's why I love the man, you know. And that's what you do for people that you love, even if you're not into the thing, you know, it makes them happy. So he got me some pumpkin spice whipped cream that I can just put on top of my coffee to kind of give it the flavor without having to overwhelm the coffee with a full-on creamer. I really like this background color. It's a very warm, inviting, cozy, fall-like color. And I'm gonna deepen the outer part with this one called Mindful, this brown. This is I think it's a cream to powder formula, meaning it feels creamy to the touch. Oh yeah. Let me just use that. And then it dries down into a powder. It's not wet, but it's wetter. Does that make any sense? It feels moist to the touch. Moist, that word is so funny. We used to joke about that word in college. You know how there's all these like slang terms for things that are amazing. Like, oh, that's fly. Remember that from the 90s? That's so fly. So we started to joke around and say, that's so moist. That's moist, to indicate that something was like super cool, fantastic, amazing, whatever. Oh my gosh, college days. So nesting at home, I'm limiting myself, but I'm enjoying looking at all of the pumpkin, Halloweeny kinds of decor at TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and other stores, even like the candle stores where they have, oh my gosh. So Yankee Candle has a base that I think it has a trick-or-treating scene on it. And I'm going to take some footage of some artwork. They're those, what is it called? G-Clay or however you pronounce that word, prints from an artist in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. I used to go to this art show every single year and I would always purchase one of her pieces. I have, I think one or two, is it two? Definitely one, maybe two of her originals, but they're obviously more expensive, her original artwork. And then she will do these prints and she will touch them up with her own paints. Like she'll print it out and stretch it onto a canvas, and then she will do highlights with paint on it, so you still get that like personal touch. I want to show you some footage of some of the pieces from her that are fall themed that just steal my heart. Maybe some people would think that they are a little bit immature in terms of artwork for your house. I don't care. I think they are so cool and nostalgic and just do something to me. They're so fantastic, these scenes from the fall. And they're scenes from her childhood, which I think is even more special. She grew up, like I said, in the mountains of Virginia. And they're just recollections, like her recreation of memories from her childhood, which I think is just so stinking cool and takes me back to this time and space. So a few of my favorite things, so to speak, in this footage. This is the original painting that I have. Her name is, I had a brain fart, it's Marianne Vesey. But look how cute this is with the front yard scene with people raking up and burning piles of leaves in the autumn. Look at the trees. There's something about this that just touches my heart. And here's one of her little prints. Look how cool that is with the ghosts coming out of the chimney. The pumpkins, the witches around the cauldron, super duper adorable. Do you see the little ghosts in the wagon back there? Here we have another one, another trick-or-treating scene. She's just so good at these. Then there's this scene, which I really regret not getting framed, but here we go. Another trick-or-treating scene. Look how cute all of the little goblins and pumpkins and costumes are. Look how realistic the light in the windows looks. So she painted those over, even though this is a print. The leaves on the trees are also hand painted a little bit by her. I just think that is like one of the cutest scenes. Look at this little guy doing a cartwheel. Like, who doesn't love that? Do you like Halloween? I'm a big fan of Halloween, especially when it comes to little kids dressing up. And this is also another one of her prints that I have, which I love. So she like hand painted parts of the sun for me, parts of the pumpkins. This is like a harvesty scene. Here we go with the ghosts coming out of the barn there. Just adorable, adorable, adorable. There's something about these. Maybe it's the color scheme and the fact that I really love fall color schemes that just, I don't know, I can't say it brings back good memories because I didn't have memories like this as a kid because I grew up in New York in the city and our trick-or-treating was in apartment buildings. But I did go to boarding school in Connecticut and I remember doing some trick-or-treating as a teenager and the streets looked a lot like this. Maybe that's my connection point. Then I have these two fall-themed prints. These are actually pictures that remind me of everything I love about fall, the theme, the colors. This is an Amish country. It's a caravan of covered carriages moving alongside a harvested field. And then his picture of these pumpkins outside of an Amish home, I think is really kind of cool. I also have this painting. This is an original painting of a fall tree that I think is supposed to be a little bit abstract, but I like it anyway. Then I have lots of pictures of Halloween, fall, autumn, harvest time types of memories. Like my son here at the pumpkin patch when he was, gosh, maybe 7-ish years old, 8 at the most. So cute. I mean, just steals my heart. And while I'm down here in the recreation space, I wanted to share this wire tree that's supposed to be like a Halloween decoration. And my husband thinks it's it's hideous, but I love it. And I've collected these little things, charms and such to hang, like this black crow, these like primitive design here, you know, a little tab or whatever you call that with a pumpkin, happy Halloween, spooky scaredy cat. Let's see here. What else do we have? The moon, the harvest moon. A cat. Halloween greeting. I just think these little hanging charms, whatever you call them, ornaments, are just so cute. This one's a bit out of place, but I didn't know where else to put them. Ghosts and goblins. Boo! Halloween greetings again. This little, what is this? What would you even call this? What would you even call this thing? This pumpkin thing that I got for $4.95 somewhere, apparently. Anyway, you guys, my point is that it's little things like this that just bring me tremendous joy. So then let me talk a little bit about Disney and Universal. So y'all have been hearing from me in several videos now about how I am putting together the vlog, the Disney and Universal vlog. And I have been, but I just need to be honest and say I am overwhelmed by it. I've said that before, but I'm just finally like admitting defeat, okay? So I'm gonna have to rescind on my promise of putting a vlog up. Not that all of you all were waiting with bated breath or anything. I'm sure everyone has forgotten about that and could care less whether I put it up or not. And that's the point. Like, I'm just trying to be graceful with myself and realize people just don't care that much. And I don't mean that in like a negative way, like a nefarious kind of a thing. Like people are mean and don't care. No. Just recognizing like, look, everybody has a life. Everybody's doing their own thing and nobody's going to trip, you know, if you don't put up your Disney Universal vlog. Like nobody really cares. Again, not in a mean way, but like no one cares. So I'm going to give myself the grace, which is something I'm working on in my life in general. Stop being a people pleaser, which is a lifelong thing. I started stopping being a people pleaser in my late 30s, early 40s. I'm 47 and I'm still working on it. I'm much, much better now than I used to be, but I'm still there. Like I still have the vestiges. Is that the right word? Do I sound like I have fancy vocabulary? The vestiges of that, the remnants of that deep in my soul. And I feel guilty if I don't follow through on promises. So all of those things I need to continue to work on as I move into the late summer, autumn of my own life. Speaking of things, right? Yeah, like it's time not to be concerned about what other people think. To a certain extent. I mean, it's healthy to be concerned about what other people think to some extent. I mean, you don't want to be out here totally offending everyone and barreling through life like a bull in a china shop. I don't like that mentality. I don't like that, like, do you, boo, do whatever you want and don't worry what other people think. You should worry what other people think. We live in a society where we have norms and mores, and to some extent, we are expected to abide by that. Hello? Now, I'm not talking about doing everything other people think you should. No, I'm talking about being a good citizen, being kind to others, being thoughtful, being respectful when you're in shared spaces and things like that. Gosh, I get really irritated with like that modern day messaging of like, just be you. And if people don't like you, it's their problem. No, if people don't like you, it's partially your problem. You're probably being a jerk and doing stupid stuff and you need to just chill out. Rant over. How the heck did I get into that? The vlog. Yeah, the vlog. So Y'all, I think I'm just going to give myself the grace of not continuing to power through feeling like I need to edit that hour-long video down. So forgive me. Forgive me. At some point, I will do like a Disney and Universal best of, or like my favorite things about those places, because I do love them. In fact, I'm already thinking about going back. How crazy do I sound? Those are expensive trips, right? Like you're in it for thousands. If you really want to have fun and you want to do it right, you ain't getting out a trip, especially if you have not just yourself, but multiple people. You're gonna come out of pocket for those trips. You know, if you want to do it right and you want to have fun. I like to do everything. I don't like to limit myself when I'm there. And one thing I did do this summer was get the express passes and all of that. The Disney Genie. You have to pay extra for that stuff. It's so obnoxious how they charge you stupid prices to get into those parks. And on top of that, you're paying extra for all of those things. Friends, it's a lot. So my point is that I'm already thinking about how I can get back there. I think I'm going to try something funky and use this mantra shade here as the liner underneath. Wish me luck. But yeah, I really enjoy those. They have they, as in Disney and Universal, both have their fall decorations out. I wish I could sort of just transport myself there. Why do I feel like I did almost this exact same look with the Metropolis palette a couple of videos back? Or was it just the last video, the very last video that I posted? I think I did almost an identical look. And we don't care, right? Like, that's fine. Just do you, boo? I'm kidding. Okay. I'd love to just kind of magically transport to the parks to walk around and look at how they set up all of the decorations. Like, I find that so fun. Now, ooh, I got some under my eye. Busch Gardens here does Hollow Scream, and that's like an hour away from us. So we're thinking of going one evening. I don't know, I have to see how I feel about that. And like walking around there and seeing what they did with all of their haunted house decorations and all of that. Speaking of life things, I've been really enjoying Reels on Instagram. And you know, Instagram's a lot like YouTube. Once you start watching certain things, the algorithm thinks you want to see a lot of that and it feeds it into your feed. So I've been getting a lot of like life lessons and little motivational tips and tricks and speeches and portion excerpts from speeches and whatever. And I've been doing a few reels with those about like people in your life, curating the people in your life, just like you curate everything else. Like we do spring cleaning, and we do cleaning out of closets to donate things to Goodwill and whatever. We curate our fragrance and makeup collections, everything. Why not curate the people in our lives? And I just love the thought of that, which, look, as someone who grew up with like a deep sense of loyalty to family and friends, it has been really hard for me to think about letting people go. Meaning just not, like just figuring out who I want to dedicate my time and energy to and in what ways. Do you struggle with that? Maybe some of you have gotten better at that than I have. It's something that's like constantly on my mind and I'm getting better at it. I'm not perfect at it, but I'm getting much better at figuring out if I get funky energy from someone and not feeling like I have to totally dissect that. In other words, if there's something about someone that just doesn't feel right, it's not vibing with me, or I'm not getting the sense that that person like has my best interest at heart, for example, or that that person wishes me well, or that that person isn't speaking of me well when they're not with me. So let me pause and say, a long time ago, I came across a quote. Is it quote? No, quotation. Quote is the verb, quotation is the thing. I have to remember that. I came across a quotation that said something to the extent of, love is when you know that your name is safe in someone else's mouth. And it stuck with me. Meaning, when you're not in that person's presence and they're elsewhere, are they speaking well of you? And if they're not speaking well of you, are they at least not working to harm you or speak ill of you? Now, we all love a good gossip, myself included. Like, let's get real. Gossiping can be fun, at least for me. I know there's people that are like, oh, only small minds talk about other people. Look, whatever. That's the biggest crock of poo. Many women get together and have a good little chuckle about a thing or two happening, in their friendship circle or something. There's nothing wrong with that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about malicious intent. I'm talking about feeling like your reputation, your personhood is safe with someone else and that they wish you well, right? Like, and I feel like that way about my friends and family. If I have people in my life that I am starting to have negative feelings towards, like I don't ever wish people wrong. But if I'm not in a space, like if they're talking and speaking and doing things and I'm giving them side eye, I have to pay attention to that, like for myself, and honor those feelings. They're coming from somewhere. So let me just say, getting those feelings, or doesn't mean that somebody like immediately gets the boot out of your life. Like, gosh, when would you ever develop a friendship if every time you had an off feeling about someone, you just let them fly into the night? But for me, it's figuring out which people are worth the extra effort to figure out and get past those strange feelings about. And for me, that's people that I know are going to be in my life. You know that whole saying, reason, season, lifetime? If someone's in my life for a reason, I'm not going to go out of my way to like figure out where the funkiness is coming from and work past that. I'm just going to let that sort of flow in my life and out. And likewise, I'll flow in and out of other people's lives too. And then season, I might pay a little bit more attention to depending on how long the season is. And then lifetime, those are the people that I really want to put the effort into figuring out relationships with. And if it's not in that realm of importance for me, then I just need to give thought to how much energy I want to put into something after it becomes apparent that, my name isn't safe in their mouth. It's okay. That happens. That's life. People flow in and out of your life. And it's okay. It's totally, totally okay. I don't know that everyone we meet is meant to be in our lifetimes, forever. That's just not realistic. We don't have space in our being, in our sphere of existence to have everyone you've ever met stay in your life forever. So anyway, I'm giving more thought to that as we get older into our adulthood and really just valuing my time more. For example, when someone says, let's get together for lunch, if I don't immediately think, yeah, that would be a lot of fun, then I really kind of pause and give it thought. Like, is this a place and a space where I want to dedicate an hour and a half of my life to? The answer may end up being yes, but if it's no, I need to honor that I have better things to do with my time than to spend time with that individual. And then figure out why and think about why is it that I'm continuing to have a relationship with this person if I don't even feel compelled to have lunch with them. Those are pretty profound conversations when you start to look across your friendship circle, your family circle even, your colleague circle, all of that to make some decisions about your time and how you want to spend it. But one thing is apparent. I'm all over the place in this video. My husband and I have been talking about this a lot. And he just turned 50 this summer. I told you 10,000 times, I'm 47. I'm 47. And for me, it means that we're really thinking quite a lot about how we spend our time. Because as you get older, the clock's ticking. Like you have less and less time on this planet. Period. End of story. That's the reality that we all face. And so each of those hours, hour and a half, 2 hours that you dedicate to people that you don't really vibe with well, you got to really think about whether it makes sense for you to do that or not. For me, the answer is becoming more clearly no. And so I am without guilt, and the without guilt part is what I'm working on. Like I grew up in a household with a strong Catholic influence. There were other influences as well, which I'll talk about another time. But Catholicism and the guilt that comes with the culture around Catholicism was deep in my house. So I'm working on not feeling guilt when I say no to people and say yes to me. Yes to me. Or to my family or to my kids. Drop me a note in the comments. Do you know what I mean? And if so, what thoughts do you have about that? So where I was going with all of that is I've done, a few reels on the Everyday Veronica Instagram. They don't get a lot of views. They don't. And that's totally okay. There's something like interesting and cathartic for me doing those. It's like my reminder, like my daily affirmation. It's okay to let go of things. It's okay to move in and out of people's lives. It's okay for them to move in and out of mine. It's okay for me to say yes to me and no to things that don't serve my household. you know, my family. It's okay to be graceful with myself. It's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And one person in particular who I really enjoy listening to is Steve Harvey, of all people. Steve Harvey, someone that, you know, he's a comedian, and he hosts Family Feud. And I love him as a host on Family Feud. He's so funny. I love watching Family Feud. I'm totally overworking the tail of this brow. I need to just leave it alone. But let me tell you, Steve Harvey's been through a lot. He's got such wisdom to share. And I listen, it's coming from life experience. He hasn't had a perfect life. In fact, he's messed up quite a lot. But there's something about those people that haven't led a perfect life and the advice that they have to give that's just very sort of compelling for me. Like, yeah, at least, you know, they kind of know what they're talking about. My eyebrows look insane. Way over structured here. I'm going to blur this out a little bit. I don't like them. So, Steve Harvey, yeah. Let me finish getting ready. I'll show you my final look and we'll shut this video down. So I used the Cover FX Warm Honey on my cheeks. The look's simple today, you guys. I'm not going all crazy. And it looks like that. And I kept my lips super simple. I don't really dip into my glosses as much as I probably should. I love my glosses too. And this one is from Rimmel, and I can never find the color of this. But here's the shade. It's like a warm pumpkin brownish shade, and it's incredible shimmer, incredible shimmer. So I didn't do lipstick today. I didn't do lip liner. We're just going to stick with gloss and keep it simple. Mascara is the Lancome Monsieur Big, which is one of my favorite mascaras. Okay, this is like maybe number 2. The Pat McGrath Dark Star Mascara is my all-time favorite, followed by this, which is this very, very wet formula and really gives my eyelashes a lot of volume. So I hope you enjoyed our little chat today, my friends. It was all over the place. We talked about home decor, we talked about candles, we talked about life lessons, a little bit of makeup. I hope that I was able to keep you company on a long drive or while you're doing chores around your house or something like that. Drop me a comment to let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, my friends.